everybody, welcome to MUSE TV. We are back and we have this amazing film I just saw recently called Goodbye Butterfly. It's one you should definitely see. We have the director Tyler Wayne and Adam Donshik who stars in the film. How are you guys doing?
Doing very well.
Thanks for having us.
Where did this story come from? Because I see little pieces from what's happened in the news, but also the horror movies that I've seen throughout the years. Where did this whole story come from and the decision to make this movie?
You're going to be disappointed by the answer. Where the story came from was actually, so I had formed this production company that had raised a tiny little bit of financing, and we were supposed to co-finance and co-produce a bigger movie with another production company. The project ended up falling through. So we were left with, our little investment, which was a fraction of that budget, and no project. And I still had investors that were like, well, we put money into you to deliver us a project. So I had to create one. And based around the resources that we had, it basically had to be one of those, three guys in a room type of movies like Saw. Yeah. So you basically start with that. You go, okay, you got three guys in a room. The majority of the movie is going to be this. How do I make this interesting? How do I create a dynamic that is going to keep an audience engaged? And then you start from there, and it's like, well, what if these two guys are trying to kill this one guy? Okay, that's great. Why are they trying to kill this one guy? Okay, that's great. Why can't they kill this one guy? And you just sort of keep building from there and layering and layering and layering until you have something in a lead character that you can sort of start to develop an emotional arc around.
Yeah, and that's definitely what you do, because it was such a great and interesting beginning of the film, and you're thinking it's going to go another direction, and then you're just like, oh, it's not going to be a fun film.
It's like a gut punch.
Exactly, and you're just like, you're feeling the emotional connection between you, Adam, and your daughter in the film, and I'm just like, dude, this is gonna be cool. And then, ugh, and yeah. That's where I started. Like, I was enjoying the ride, and I enjoyed the ride. What was it like, Adam, to be in this position, to play this role? Because there's a lot. It's intense, to be honest. It's a really intense role.
It was emotionally draining. And it was hard. Because of the abbreviated schedule, I knew that I needed to come in as prepared as I could. So I spent a lot of time with it, and nothing prepares you for what it is you're going to be doing, no matter how well you know the lines, no matter how well you know the beats, no matter how many decisions you make. So I did my best to leave it at home, or to leave it on set when I went home every night. But it followed me, and it was a relatively dark period, but really rewarding, and really sort of like, it's like that weird dichotomy of, oh, I'm miserable, but this is awesome, kind of experience. And it was such a tight, excellent script. The people that we worked with were really just, top notch, that at no point did it really like feel like drudgery. It was just that emotional like cloud that followed, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And Tyler, what was it always your idea to put yourself in the film and to be a part of it? Or were you just thinking about being the director and just making sure everything moves correctly and everything? Or was it always like, I have to have some type of role in this?
Well, I mean, I knew I was going to have a role in it, but usually not for the reason that most people think. It was, being a first-time filmmaker, the actors that you put up there are going to be preserved in amber for all eternity, basically, and you're asking them to trust you, but you have no track record. They have no reason to trust you, and you're, especially with this film, I mean, with everybody involved, but especially with Adam and especially with Andy. You're asking them to do some pretty intense stuff, and you're asking them to trust you. And I felt that one of the best ways to do that was to be in there with them and let them know that, you know, I wasn't going to ask them to do anything that I wasn't willing to do myself. And, you know, that also too, that I understood their process, you know, that I wasn't one of these filmmakers that was going to be sitting there like telling them to do this or telling them to do that, but not understanding where it is that they need to go in order to do that. So really for me, it was about building the right form of camaraderie with my cast as a first-time filmmaker.
Yeah. And that's the one thing that I love about this film. You and Adam, there's just a gel on screen between
Yeah.
you two. And it just works. It just works good. I mean, did you have a friendship before? Did you know each other before? Because it felt coming off a screen like you've known each other for some time, and it just worked in this role.
No, yeah, we didn't know each other before. It was, you know, Adam came in and auditioned, and you know, like I'd been watching the auditions, you know, on my computer and had narrowed it down to basically two candidates, Adam and this other guy. And once I got in the room with Adam, it was just like the chemistry that we immediately had was just like, I was like, yeah, that's who I'm going to spend, you know, the next 3 weeks working with. Like there was no question.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, there's a similarity in sense of humor that we have, that we immediately sort of like latched onto. We have both a great sort of like love of film and acting and the sort of whole world, that, you know, there's never something that we never find a moment where we don't have something to talk about. So we became very, very fast friends very quickly.
Yeah,
I mean, I judge him
very fun.
the entire time. I mean, that's just sort of the way it is. As he does me.
Yeah,
It's totally fine.
And that's the one thing, like your casting of Andy Lauer as, I mean, it was just awesome. Like he really sold this role. Like I couldn't tell in the beginning if he was just a lonely guy or he was just a little out there. It was so hard because he played it so well. What was it about about choosing him, because he gave such a great performance in this film?
well, Andy was one of the, like there was no other choice, you know. Like with Andy, it was just like, if it's not this guy, who's it going to be? We've got to get him. But then you like, you know, he's out here in LA too, and I met with him, you know, and he's exactly like that in real life, but not in that way, like in a very funny sort of dry way. But like he's one of those, like every time I meet with him in person, it takes me like 5 minutes to reacclimate myself to his personality, because he's just so comically dry and weird, and like you never quite know what he's going to say or what he's going to do, and he's just so deadpan. But yeah, that was like, there wasn't anybody in the audition footage that even came close to doing what he did.
Yeah. When I did the callback with him, which was actually via Zoom because he was still in LA, I was like, wow, that's the role. Like I thought to myself, even if I don't get this job, I hope he does.
Yeah, I remember as soon as we cast you, like that was your first thing. You were like, so who's Stan? Is it Andy? Is it Andy? I was like, yeah, it's Andy. Who else would it be? Like,
yeah. Exactly. And that's why, like, I just adore this. The script is tight. The visuals are great. The story moves smoothly. I mean, is it eventually going to come out are you thinking about a theatrical release? Hopefully, as it gets further, because I know you're releasing it on VOD or on Amazon and those type of platforms. But would you want to see this in a theatrical release as well?
I mean, I would have loved to, and that was the original plan. Like when Gravitas first picked up the movie, they had scheduled it for a limited theatrical release. I mean, obviously, small films like this, you're not expecting that many screens, but yeah, we did have, it was scheduled for a limited theatrical release, and COVID and everything kind of knocked that off the map. So at some point, it would be great. I would love to see it there, but the reality of where we're at with cinema right now is just that, you know, the little box at home is kind of the home for things.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you now, this is a film that I definitely would want to see in the cinema. I would want to have that popcorn with me and be able, because this is the type of
Yeah.
movie that pulls you in and you want to see it with other people because you'll get that emotion from other people. How are people going to be able to watch it? Please give them a little bit of info on how they can watch it, rent it, things like that.
Well, right now it's currently available on demand, so you can get it anywhere that you can get on demand, iTunes, you know, Google Play,
Amazon, like you can
yeah.
rent it from Amazon or buy it.
Nice.
Yeah. But come April 15th, it will be available on Prime Video to all of their subscribers. So
Very
you'll
cool.
be able to watch it on Amazon for free as of April 15th.
Very cool. Well, you did an amazing job. Both of you guys did amazing jobs on this project. How could they follow you to stay up to date with your work and what's coming up?
I think I'm on social media somewhere.
His self-promotion ability is astounding.
Those socials are just everywhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
You can find me on I have a website, donshik.com. You know, I'm on Instagram. I think it's a Donshik. Facebook Donshik. I mean, just look up Donshik and you'll find me.
Awesome, awesome. But I'm looking forward to your next work.
Thank
But
you.
until then,
a couple weeks, I'll be on The Resident. I think the end
very
of
cool.
April. So, you know, on Fox.
Very cool.
Very excited about that. Just shot that.
Awesome. Very cool. We love the Fox programming. We do a lot of stuff with Fox, so it's good to hear.
Nice.
And Tyler, we're looking forward for your next work. I mean,
Yeah, working on it now.
This is such a good, especially it shocks me that this is your first film and you just knocked it out of the park. You did an amazing job. I'm looking forward to seeing it again when it comes out on Amazon Prime. So thank you so much for talking with us, being here with us. And we're going to be putting links to where you can see it on Amazon Prime, since we're an Amazon affiliate. We're going to push it so after you could take a look at the film, and we'll see you next time here on MUSE TV.